My neighbors tried to move my fence while I was out. Okay, so I'm still buzzing from what went down last weekend. I've had these neighbors, the Walkers, living next door for about a year, and they've always been a bit intense. From the get-go, Mrs. Walker was all about redeveloping the neighborhood vibe, whatever that means. But what happened on Saturday was next level crazy. Picture this, it's a sunny morning, and I decided to hit up the local Target for some much-needed me time and retail therapy. I left my house just as Mr. Walker was out trimming his hedges, giving me his usual tight-lipped nod. Didn't think much of it. I grabbed my iced caramel macchiato from Starbucks on the way because yay, treat yourself, and took my sweet time wandering the aisles. When I came back, everything seemed normal until I walked around to the backyard to see something that made my jaw literally drop. My fence, the white picket fence my grandpa installed decades ago, was half removed. Two guys with tool belts and a serious attitude were placing it way closer to my house. I was like, what the hell? I marched straight over, heart pounding, and asked them what they thought they were doing. One of the guys looked at me like I was the crazy one and said, Mr. Walker hired us. He wants to extend his yard. I couldn't believe it. I mean, who does that? I told them to stop immediately, but they just shrugged and said they'd have to take it up with Miss Walker, so I stormed over to the Walker's house, banging on their door like a madwoman. Mrs. Walker answered, looking annoyingly serene, and I blurted out, why are you moving my fence? She barely flinched. Instead, she smiled sweetly and said something about property lines and how technicalities could be so tricky. That's when it hit me. They were trying to pull some shady land grab because they figured I wouldn't notice or care, but they messed with the wrong woman. I told her to call off her guys and that I was going to get a land surveyor to settle this once and for all. Mrs. Walker, still calm as a cucumber, said she'd be happy to go over the papers we both had. I could feel my blood boiling. After a few more tense exchanges, she finally agreed to call off her henchman for the day. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the confrontation in my head, wondering if I'd done enough or if they'd try something else while I was at work. So I took the next day off and called a surveyor first thing. Turns out, my grandpa knew what he was doing. The lines were exactly where they should be, and I had all the paperwork to prove it. Armed with this, I went back to the Walkers with a copy of the survey. Mr. Walker answered this time, looking way less confident than his wife had. I laid out the papers and gave him a piece of my mind about respecting boundaries, literal and otherwise. To my surprise, he apologized, mumbling something about miscommunications. But here's the kicker. Later that week, I overheard Mrs. Walker bragging to another neighbor about how their plans hadn't worked out. Plans? Like this was some sort of strategic game for them. I still feel uneasy every time I see them out front. I'm constantly on guard, expecting the next move in their ridiculous property chess game. They haven't tried anything since, but I've decided to put up a security camera, because honestly, peace of mind is worth everything.